Hi, I'm Shane. Thanks for hanging out today. I want to talk about what I believe is the best drum set you can buy for under $1,000, and that's the Yamaha Stage Custom Birch. There are several different configurations available. You can get a 22, 10, 12, 16, a 20, 10, 12, 14, a bot version that is 18, 12, 14 that comes with a 14-inch snare, and a hip version that has a shallow 20-inch bass drum, 10-inch mounted tom, 13-inch floor tom snare combo, and I believe that one also comes with a 13-inch snare. Also available are some steel snare drums that comes in a 6.5 and a 5.5. I think those might be discontinued though because they're getting hard to find. Sweetwater doesn't have them new, but some of the other stores still have them, so maybe that's some old stock. So if you want a steel snare drum, you better act now. The 14-inch wooden snare drum is a 10-lug drum, so it sounds really nice. The 13, it's probably an 8. I don't have that one. I'm going to show you some different configurations today, some different tunings you can use on this kit, and you can decide for yourself if this is the best kit available for under $1,000. I have kind of a shell bank in this kit. I have a 22, 20, and 18-inch kick. I have 10, 2 12s, 2 14s, and 1 16-inch floor tom, the 6.5-inch steel snare, and the 14-inch wooden snare. The first configuration up today is 22, 12, 16, and the 6.5-inch steel snare. I'm going to let you hear the drums individually, both wide open and with some studio rings, and I'm also going to play along to a loop so you can hear what it sounds like with some other instruments. Mics on the kit today, I have Shure SM57s on the snare and the toms, a Shure Beta 52 inside the bass drum, and overhead I have some Earthworks SR25s, so the toms and snare will spill into the overheads as well. For heads on the toms, I have the Evans G2 coated on the top, Remo Ambassador coated on the bottom, but an Evans G1 would be similar. On the snare, I have a Remo Control Sound coated on the top and an Ambassador snare side on the bottom. And on the bass drum, I have a Remo Power Stroke 3 black suede on the bass drum batter. This next configuration is 20, 10, 12, 14, and I'm using the 14-inch Birch snare that comes with the bop kit. I've tuned the toms a little bit up. They're still kind of mid-range. They're not really cranked. I'll let you hear them with and without the rings. And I also forgot to mention on the front of the bass drum for the last setup and this one and for the bop one, I have a Solomon LoFReQ, like low frequency microphone picking up the front head. The last configuration I'm going to show you today is the standard bop kit. That is 18, 12, 14, and the included 14-inch snare, which, by the way, is a 10-lug snare. As far as medium-priced kits go, this is one of the better ones. You know, a lot of times medium-priced included snare drums aren't great, but this one is very usable in, a number of situations. I've cranked it up a little higher from the last configuration. Also, when I play jazz, I don't normally crank the toms this high. I normally have them, sort of medium, but you heard that in the last configuration, so I went ahead and cranked these up so you can hear what they sound like very high. I've got Evans calf tones on the tops of the toms, clear one-ply bottoms. They're actually the stock heads, And don't let anyone ever tell you that you can't use stock resonant heads. You know, of course, better quality is going to sound better, but for the resonant head, it's going to be so minimal that, you know, you're not even going to be able to tell. And anyone that says they can tell is lying to you. So trust me, go ahead and use the stock heads on the bottom if you need to save a little bit of money. I've got a coated ambassador on the snare, Power Stroke 3 on the bass drum, the stock front bass drum head. I don't normally close mic when I play jazz either, but I did that with the other configuration, so I'm going to go ahead and do it here so you can hear a comparison. I also don't normally use, you know, any studio rings or dampening. I'll let you hear the drums like that, but when I play along to the track, I'll take those off. Actually, the 14 still rings a lot, even with the dampening. I don't know what it is about these 14s, but this one and the other one I have just resonate far longer than any of the drums. So, you know, it's good if you want resonance, but if not, you might, you know, find yourself fighting it off a little bit. So there you have it, the Stage Custom Birch. What I believe is the best available kit under $1,000. You heard the whole video. Feel free to make your own judgment on that. There are a few things about the kit that I don't like. The big thing with Yamaha is that their finishes just suck. I mean, there's no other way to put it. They did add like a blue fade, recently, but black, white, natural, cranberry red. Now they have the blue fade, which is kind of cool. But in general, all their mid-price stuff, even the higher priced, you got to get up to the PHX before they really start putting some really nice finishes on. And I know that's a cost thing. I don't know why Yamaha won't wrap mid-priced kits. I would love a white marine pearl Yamaha kit, but they just won't. Granted, it does affect the sound, but it's just kind of the resonance. A lot of other companies make great wrapped kits that sound fine. So I'm not sure why Yamaha won't do it, but that's their thing. They basically never have wrapped anything but their very, budget level stuff. The other kind of complaint I have about this kit is that the rims are really thin. They're 1.6 millimeters as opposed to the 2.1. So, half a millimeter, what difference can that make? It's not hugely noticeable, but, they are a little more flimsy. The snare, actually, I have die-cast hoops on. I replaced these hoops very early, years ago, and I just don't know what I did with the triple flange, but the snare's got die-cast on it. They sound great. The toms, I don't really notice a difference, sonically, there's no difference, but they are just a little bit flimsier. The rest of the kit, these are the old, absolute lugs, the 1 point, with one screw point. Those are great. The tom holder and the bass drum spurs and stuff like that is the same on all their kits. So that is the top of the line stuff from Yamaha. I kind of, presented a shell bank here. You saw all the drums I own. I have the 18, 20, 22 kicks. 10, 2 12s, 2 14s, and one 16-inch floor tom, the steel snare, and the wood snare. Also, there is an 8-inch tom. I had that with a different kit. I had another stage custom kit. I had the natural finish. I had the 8, and I kind of hated it. It was a little boingy, if that's a word. I don't know. I just didn't like it. It just didn't really speak to me, so I didn't get the 8 for this. There's also a 13-inch mounted tom, which I'm sure sounds great. That's right in the the middle tom size. That's always a good size. And there's an 18-inch floor tom as well. The good thing about this is all of these drums are available, individually. So, you pick the kit you want or the bass drum size that you want, and then you can add on the toms. My very first purchase of this was a 22, 10, 12, 16, and I bought the 14-inch floor tom that went with it. You can, mix and match. You can buy whatever sizes you want. So pick a, like a core set and then add on the toms that you want. It's very versatile. You could take the 20-inch kick, you could play rock with that, you could play jazz with that. The 18, you could play some funk with that if you tune it down. And the 22, you could play some, funk and pop with that. You might even be able to get away with jazz on that. Some older jazz guys just straight use the 22, tune it up, solid front head. You could probably get away with that as well. I think the only kit that maybe approaches this in quality for price would be the Sonar AQ2 kit. I have a couple of those as well, and you can buy them in, all the different sizes. 16, I think they have a 14-inch kick for that, 14 through 22-inch kicks, all the tom sizes. They're a little more expensive. It's over $1,000, but it's maple, so, different wood, but that is also, kind of in this ballpark as far as quality to price ratio. I have noticed that with the Birch drums, they seem to do better with 2-ply heads. Birch has a lot more attack, less sustain, so the 2-ply heads kind of, blend out that too much attack and give it a little more resonance. I have had, the G2s that you heard today, I've had clear pinstripes on this kit. They sound great with clear pinstripes. Coated pinstripes as well. Those sound very nice. Remo Emperors, all good. I've had the Ambassadors on them, and they do sound fine. It's just I like the double ply heads better. Maybe a single ply on a 10 and maybe a 12, and then double ply on the floor toms would be a good configuration. Something like that, mix and match. Once again, I'm Shane. Thanks for hanging out today. Hope you enjoyed my presentation of the Yamaha Stage Custom Birch. Make sure you like the video, subscribe, and check me out on all the socials, which are listed down in the video description. Also, I'll have a link to the play-along tracks that I used. Those are from Drum here on YouTube. Great resource. Take care.